Hey y'all, today we're going to be utilizing my fiber filter tutorial to make some papers for digital scrapbooking. This way of making papers using the fiber filter is best if it's used in conjunction with some of the other methods and things that you've learned. Having papers with just this filter on it is not the best. This is just a way to add maybe an extra layer of texture to your papers, and it's a very basic, simple way if you're just needing to add a little bit more texture to your papers. But I wouldn't recommend having this as the only thing on your papers like we're going to be learning it today. Just keep that in mind, that you want to combine this. Usually the more layers you have when you're making papers, the better your papers are going to be. So this is just another way to add to the textures in your paper. Okay, I'm going to sort of be popping back and forth and following this tutorial. I have here my Photoshop elements, and I just have a white background paper right now, but I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to make that background paper white. Don't know if we'll even need to use it later. We'll see. I'm going to go to the filter drop down menu as you've learned before, and I'm going to make a cloud paper. Let me get to my background and foreground color, black and white. I just hit D on my keyboard. Filter, render, clouds. Now, from the other lesson, you can go back to that if you want. You'll notice that the clouds filter makes something from nothing. The fiber filter does not do that. And so, oh goodness, 6 a.m. in the morning is too early to be recording, so I apologize for my yawning. But the fiber filter does not make something from nothing, so you have to have something on the layer. It doesn't make a lot of difference. You're going to see as we play with that later, but you do have to have something on your layer before you begin playing. We're going to start with black and white in our foreground and background color. This does make a difference in this filter, but we're just going to start with black and white and move on and play with some of the others a little bit later. So I'm going to go to the filter, render, and fibers. And in the pop-up box here, you're going to see two sliders, one for variance and one for strength. And actually, my tutorial says it best, so we're going to look at what it says here. The variance slider changes the number of reoccurrence in the design. The lower number generates a smooth or sparse design, while the higher number generates a busy or dense design. So we're going to pull this all the way down, and you can see how it smoothed it out, and I kind of like that. That's almost like metal, like a metal texture, and as you move up you see it's more defined. I don't like these textures as much, but you can utilize these. You've just got to think outside the box. And so I'm going to go down to 37 because I peeked ahead and that's what it showed in my tutorial. And the bottom slider for strength, a low number generates slightly smudged lines, while a high number generates distinct lines. So these are all smudged and more distinct as you get higher up. So both of them kind of make smudged or smooth as you go down, and more defined or distinct as you go up. I'm going to go ahead and do a 37 on this. Now, if you hit this plus or minus sign, it will affect your preview. So if I hit the minus sign, and go all the way out, it's going to show me more what my paper is going to look like. But yet it's harder to see the details, so you can zoom back in also. Oh, you can zoom way in now. We're really seeing pixelated stuff at 800. But you can definitely zoom in and out to see more what the view will look like. I'm going to click OK, and you're going to see it's produced a lot of very cool, just random texture. Now I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to fill it with just a random color, and I'm going to go for purple. I'm hitting Alt backspace on my keyboard to put the foreground color in, or you can use your paint bucket or whatever method you like to use. And then I'm going to change the blending mode on our new fiber layer. Fiber, it just makes me think of a fiber bar first thing in the morning. Don't know why. It is 6 a.m. while I'm recording this, so you can immediately see what it looks like when I put a hard light blending mode on it. Now, I really don't recommend that this be your paper. Most people would not like scrapping with a paper that looks like this. This is not a high quality paper right here. Lowering the opacity way down makes it much softer. This is a much more usable paper. It's still not a real high quality paper, but as I said, you would want to utilize this with lots of the other techniques. This is going to be just maybe one of many layers you've got to add texture to your paper. So this one here, though, you could give this away, but I would add a border to it or something, anything to make it more unique. So let's go back in and play some more. I'm going to hit undo. Let's get back to our cloud filter, and I want to show you when we go into the fiber filter. When you change the foreground and the background color, now we have that purple, it's changed the color of the fiber filter here. And I want to show you this button here called Randomize. When we click on it, it just randomly gives you, you see it's not changing the slider, so we're not seeing what it's giving us, but you can see it's randomly changing it to various settings. And you could click on it. I would zoom out so you can see more what it looks like until you get one that you like, and click OK. And you can get some various things in that manner too. You can see how the black and the white of the cloud paper really kind of made no difference at all. It does a little bit, I think, not much. What you begin with. Why it doesn't generate something from nothing, I don't know. It should. Let's go on down in the tutorial. And there's where I blended it. And let's try to duplicate this one here. In the second example, I changed the color to purple. Looks more like a burgundy to me. I used a smoother, less smudged setting. Variance of 7, strength of 8. Strength of 8. Now, if you look at this one here, well, let's just go ahead and create it. You're going to see that it makes a heavy, grungy area up here in one spot, and over here, not much of anything unique. And so if I take, let me see, what did I blend it with? It doesn't. I blended it with a solid color, the same color. Let's go do that. Okay, so I have the same color that I utilized as my layer below. For you can do anything you can imagine out of your creative mind to come up with a variation of things, but I'm just trying to follow my tutorial so the video works with the tutorial. So I can change this blending mode. Let's try overlay. No, I don't like that. Soft. There, the hard light seems to work best. Kind of unique. But because I've just got this big smudged area here, there, I'm lowering my opacity some. What I'm going to do is hit Control J to duplicate that layer, and then I'm going to go to Image, Rotate, and I'm going to rotate that layer 90 degrees left. And now immediately you can see it's created a much more cool effect. You can continue doing that. I'm going to do it again. Image, rotate, left. You can do left, right, whichever. I'm just rotating the page. So now you can see I got that heavy smudged area coming in from 3 different sides. And of course, if I wanted to, I could go in here and rotate it one more time. And now I have it 4 layers with that heavy area coming in 3 different ways. So it creates a really interesting effect. But as I said, you're going to still want to use this, maybe get another kind of texture layer and pull it in and blend it. But the more layers you have, just keep remembering that, the more, a lot more effective sometimes your layers and your papers are. Now I can change this because I don't want, let's say, the same opacity for each one, or maybe I want a different blending mode for each one. So you can go in here and change the effects and just keep playing. We all like to play. There's the blending mode on just one of the blending mode of multiply on just one of them. Just one of the layers, and it changed it that much. So a lot of times you have to utilize some of your knowledge that you'll gain while you play, but to go a specific way. But a lot of times when you're creating papers, it's just a matter of the more layers you add, the playing with the blending modes, playing with the opacity until you get something that looks really cool. I mean, this one is getting more cool. I would still go and add and from the other tutorials that we've learned, you know, a grunge outer border, and I might even go get one of my textures that I like, that I've made using tiling. Probably that favorite one of mine that I have that is from like a canvas material, and add that to the top of this layer before I would finish this. You could even, of course, add patterns in on top of this. So a lot of times the more layers you have, the better your paper is going to be. But it does take practice. This is where I can't teach you. It does take practice and a lot of talent, artistic talent, an artistic eye to go, yeah, that's cool. I like that. Sometimes it takes learning an artistic eye. That is something I cannot teach you how to do. I'm only teaching you a few techniques here. So this last one here, it suggests starting with a layer that's filled with a solid white and a little bit lowered opacity. So let's zip these out and go ahead and make a new layer. And if I go to my edit drop down menu and fill layer, and I can fill it with white, but I can change the opacity of the layer here. I'm going to take that down maybe to 74%. And now I have a white layer that doesn't have the full opacity to it. And I'm going to go, and I think it's suggested in this one that I started with tan and gray. So let's go try that. Get some sort of tan color, and in the background we're going to get I like just 50% gray. Let's get some of that red out of there. There we go. So I have tan and gray. Now, as the tutorial does say, utilizing colors that have a sharper contrast generally are more effective with this filter. But don't let that inhibit you from playing around with all the different settings and all the different colors, because it's when you play that you'll end up with something unique. And in this case it says I've chosen a variance of 13 and 3. So let's go do that. Filter, render, what did I just say? 13 and 3. And you can already see what the lower opacity layer is doing here in the fiber filter preview. And I'm going to click OK, and there you can see how unique that layer is. And that's kind of a very usable layer, very subtle. You don't want if you're going to use the more harsh things, you've got to really learn how to play with them to make them look usable. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on this white background back here, and you can see that that's pretty cool. Or the purple. There we go. There it is, blended with the purple. I'm not quite sure what I did here. It looks like I do have it with the white, and then I duplicated it. Let's see, let's try the various blending modes and lowering the opacity. Oh, that doesn't work at all. And once again, turning it. Ooh, there we go. See, you got to just keep playing until you come up with something. And so you can see this beginning to come out as a unique paper. So just, yeah, gotta play. With this tutorial, you gotta play. And in speaking of playing, here it is. It's suggested to go try adding other filters to your layers. Oh, I'm yawning. Not good. Okay, so filter. Stylize emboss. I'm bringing up this emboss, and you can see what that now is doing to my paper. It's embossing those layers, but you know, I don't know what I got going on here. There's it changing the blending modes, so I've changed all those lines to be an embossed line. Ooh, that's pretty guy cool there. See, you have to have the eye for it. You've got to keep playing with it until it goes. You say, wow, that one's pretty cool. and then be able to stop here and maybe add some other things to it. Like some commercial use textures or other good textures that you've made, or as I said, around the outer edge or something like that. You wouldn't just stop with this. So I think that's the tutorial. I hope you've learned a lot from it and it's opened up your eyes to some other possibilities. Remember, often the more layers that you have, the better the paper. And I look forward to seeing what you can do with this tutorial, and have fun with it.